Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about the different lucky bag choices we will be getting on the NA anniversary coming up here soon. If you don't know what a lucky bag is, it's basically a guaranteed 5-star limited servant, however, that you can get. However, you have to choose between a bunch of groupings, which we'll show in a second. But it's a very good way to get a guaranteed 5-star limited, and, this game has... the summoning's a little tough, So, let's look at some of the choices, and I'm only going to highlight the ones that I think are really exceptional. I think, obviously, the rule should be, if you have one you want to get, if you have one character you really want to get, just go for that bag, because, game is about having fun. That's what I did on JP. On JP, I think I did the one with comma every time over and over because I didn't have comma, normal comma. But let's get right into it. So there's 12 bags. Okay, so, well, first of all, I should say, it costs 15 paid quartz to get, as long as they don't change it in NA. I'd imagine, it's 15 quartz, and you're also guaranteed a 4-star from this from the choices, which we'll show in a second. But let's, I'll kind of just scroll through. I'm also going to link this page on the description. But I'm not going to talk about every grouping. I just want to talk about the exceptional ones. So, as you can see, for those of you that are new or those that don't know, you can kind of see, okay, so this is like the first one, and there's 6 choices, and you can get one of the 6. So you're guaranteed one, and if you're exceptionally lucky, you can get multiple 5-stars in your summoning, because it's basically like you do a 10 roll. And then, because actually that's happened to me one time, is where I got multiple of characters in the bag, but you're just, like, limited to that, so you can't go, oh, let's say we summon on this first one, Ogita, and, everything, and we get Ogita, you can't get, like, I don't know, who's a non-limited, Artoria or something, normal Artoria, because she's not in this pool, So it's really cool in that way. Obviously, that's not going to happen, most likely, and you should plan on getting multiple of a character in a thing, but, So, there are 12, and we'll quickly scroll over them. They are separated into, basically, their classes and then their release date. So you can see these are kind of old, right? Because it's July 30th, 2015 to July 29th, 2016, 3 Knights classes. So that's only Ogita, Saber, Narrow Bride, Shiki, Gilgamesh, Skadach, and Brynhildr. So obviously this one's like, especially nowadays, unless you want one of these, of course. So I'm mostly just going to be talking about the really relevant servants nowadays. If you have a favorite, go for them. If your favorite's Okita, just go on this one, I will say, though, if one of your favorites, let's find one to pick on here. Let's see. Yeah, let's do this one. So, like, okay, let's say your favorite character is, like, Cleopatra or something. Maybe not a good idea. At least it would be a good idea to examine this whole pool and see which characters you'd be fine with. Because 1 in 9 chance to get your favorite servant might be a little tough, So I would, if you're in this pool or something, it's like, I'd probably just say go for it. But, like, if you're in a pool with, like, 9 characters, let's see, okay, well, would you be okay with Merlin? Would you be okay getting King Assad? Stuff like that. So anyway, let's get on to the ones that I think are really good, because I will say I think this is the last time, this is off the top of my head, that we've gotten really, really, really strong bags in terms of relevancy and the meta, So let's get on to it. So, the first one I want to highlight is this one. Extra, July 2018-2019. Or, sorry, not Extra, 4 Horsemen, 2018-2019. So this one, as you can see, is only 4 characters. I'll bring them all up here. And they are all, 3 out of the 4 are... Okay, how do... 2 of the 4 are immediately strong. One of them gets strong soon, and then the last one's like, okay. So, you're getting Reynus, Murasaki, Kama, and Arjuna Altar. So Kama and Arjuna Altar are already out of the bag amazing. If you know about, like, Buster Looping, or just in general, Arjuna's really strong. If you get Oberon and Coin Sky, you can Buster Loop with him, and other combinations as well. Kama is probably, to this day, still the best single-target assassin. And then Reynus, she's pretty okay right now, but she gets a buff here soon, that I really, really like, and she's one of my favorite characters to use in JP, actually. Her NP is really interesting and cool. But also just base level, she is basically a waiver, like Rider waiver, where she has a 50% battery total, you know, that she can give. And her NP is really nice. It's it increased the party's NP. It does a bunch of stuff, but it also overcharges, so you can use her in a lot of stall comps and stuff like that. She's also kind of a funny character to use solo-ish, you know. I more mean that because she can really get her NP back very fast if you NP and then do, like, some arts cards. Very fun character. But not, like, right now, I would say, super relevant. Murasaki. Murasaki's a character I don't have, but she's actually, okay. She's definitely the weaker of this bunch. But she's actually okay, so she has a defense down. And then she also increases party's damage against demonic enemies. That's interesting. You know, 35... What? How'd that scroll up? 30%, you know, 30% defense down, 30% demonic damage. On a 6-turn cooldown. Second skill is chance to seal one enemies. I wish that said just 100%, you know, because there's some that say chance that it's actually 100%, you know. But unfortunately, not on this one. She charges her own MP by 30% and NP damage by 20%. So this is like an okay skill. The battery's okay, but her NP, which we'll see in a second, is more like for utility than I would say is for damage, you know. Third skill is actually a pretty nice one, though. Reduces party's damage taken for 3 attacks 3 turns by 1,000. Grants party debuff immunity 1 time for 3 turns. I really like that part. And increases party's buff removal resistance by 100 for 1 time 3 turns. I really like that. I feel like buff removal resistance is a little bit on the rarer side, and also can be relevant in later stuff in the game. And then we'll take a look at the NP. It's an AoE art that inflicts buff block on all enemies, or all the enemies she hits for 1 turn. I really like that. And she also deals extra damage against demonic. But the buff block is really cool. So she's like I would say maybe like a utility character, you know. But definitely out of these 4, Kama is, she's a single target assassin that is just really good, and Arjuna is also really good. I kind of want to highlight like the ones that aren't as good, because, you know, like, you'll probably know what Kama and Arjuna is, you know. But anyway, so Murasaki, I would say, so basically, even at the worst choice, it's still like, oh, that's not that bad. You know, Murasaki, you know, she definitely can get some use. But obviously, you want to hit one of the other 3 for sure. Let's see what else. This next one, 3 Knights. I'm not gonna go too in depth on this one, but I will say from 2019 and 2020. Obviously, Orion is really strong. He's a very, very strong servant. The other 3, though, I would not say are extremely strong. Romulus is very fun. And doing like Rome traded stuff, and you know, like he makes Boudica really strong, or really strong support character and stuff, but not, you know, not amazing, not someone that like is gonna change your account, you know. Let's see what else. So 4 Horsemen Extra 2019-2020 is interesting. The real standouts are, of course, Space Ishtar and Summer Musashi. However, at this point, with the knowledge that we have now, Summer Musashi definitely ages, you know. And I'd even throw in Da Vinci Rider as well. Obviously, this is a pretty good bag, but I would say the standout is definitely Space Ishtar. But soon we're getting a lot more arts loopers and stuff, so I don't know at this point if you want to really invest in a character like Space Ishtar when we're getting Summer Kama, who obviously, you know, not the exact same, but definitely like Summer Ibuki coming up soon, for sure. So, now let's go. I don't know why my jacket, sorry I'm like fiddling with this jacket. Anyway, now let's talk about a big one. 2020-2021, 3 nights plus extra. This is, I don't want to say a bait one, but, let's talk about it. So, first, Ibuki's very strong saber, very strong character. Muramasa, y'all, all my NA boys know Muramasa. I don't even need to explain Muramasa. And then of course, Melusine, who just came out. So a lot of people might be thinking, oh, I didn't get Melusine, let me try to get her on the bag. Let's keep going. Let's you know, let's think about it. Himiko. Himiko's interesting. I like Himiko, and I think she is a fairly strong character. But I feel like her niche in like the overcharged stall stuff has kind of been overtaken by them adding a lot of arts characters that can overcharge, such as Reynus and later on Proto Merlin. But also just like the fact that Morgan's come out, now you have 2 different teams, and where Himiko used to kind of have that just, she was kind of the only one that really overcharged really well. Morgan does that now, and she kind of does more damage, but I still think Himiko is pretty good, and you definitely would not be disappointed if you get her. So we're 4 for 4 now, right? You were 4 for 4. Doman is a really strong support character. I'm not gonna go, I mean, look at all this text. I'm not a reader. Y'all know what he does. But really strong, would not be a miss if you got him. And he's in the same, we're skipping a little bit. The same thing as Van Gogh, who is also the same kind of thing where they are very strong, interesting, you know, support characters, but again, would not miss if you got either of those 2. So we're 6, wait, is this 8? Is 6 for 6. Now let's talk about Kiara. Again, Kiara's not like the worst character of all time, but she's not the strongest character of all time. You know what I mean? And probably you would feel really bad if you got Kiara, unless she's like your favorite character, from this bag. Now, if it was just that, I'd be like, go for it. This is the bag. This is the one. This is a really good one. But man, Summer Abigail is really bad. Summer Abigail is really bad. I probably don't need to explain, or I probably don't, you know, you can look up what Abigail does and stuff. I don't have her. Oh, that's actually not true. I do have her. I just don't have her. I've never used her on JP. But is just a really not the greatest character, you know. So it's like, this is one of the ones you should consider, though, I would say. Only one miss. Kiara, I would say, is probably a miss as well. But also, I will say, none of these characters, like, change your count. Maybe Melusine. Because, like, you do need stuff. You do need your supports. You do need Artoria for some of these, and you need Coin Scoffer. You know what I mean? So, let's keep that one in mind, though. That's one of the good ones. Now, let's get on to the reason I made this video, I feel like. The 12th bag. They will never make another bag this good. This is the best bag, 100% in my opinion, for, what's the, I don't want to say the meta, but like, these are the best characters. All 5 of these will completely, maybe not change your count, but 2 or 3 of them will, and all the other ones are very strong. So let's talk about it. So Artoria needs no introduction. Caster Artoria needs no introduction. She is the best character in the entire game. If you get her, if you do not have her, you have a 1 in 5 chance of getting her. That is very good odds. For 15 quartz, come on now. Is just the best character in the game. Like, completely changes how you play the game. Crane, we're going to go in order. Crane, I think, is actually not that bad. She is a nice support character that is niche in some ways, you know. She has so we'll go through this. So she grants party invincibility, like except self, for 1 turn. Increases party crit gen, except self for 3 turns. Why does this keep happening? That's 100%. And then gains crit stars based on number of costume owning allies except self. And that could add up to a lot of stars, you know. Second skill, charges her on MP to 100%. Deals 2,000 damage to herself, demerit. And then she taunts for 3 turns. 100% NP charge, you know, kind of good. Increases allies' critical star absorption. Increases their critical damage. Grants them instant kill immunity and deals 1,000. So she just keeps hitting herself. But all of these are pretty nice support. And then her NP is where things really are get interesting. Is so first of all, her NP can't be used if you don't have 20 stars. So she increases the first ally's attack, then increases their NP damage. Then she swaps herself to the back, and then she also charges the first ally's NP. So she basically is like she swaps herself, right? And she gives the first person a lot of buffs, but she puts herself in the back. She's really interesting, I would say, in how she's used and stuff. And I actually really want her, and I tried to get her on NA, but didn't end up happening. But really cool character, and not a miss, you know. Like if you do end up going on this bag, and not a miss, you know. Then Morgan. Do I need to talk about Morgan? I already made it. I haven't made a 28 video on Morgan. 28-minute video on Morgan. If you want to see Morgan, if you want to hear me talk about Morgan, go watch that video. You know, one of the servants of all time. Karen. Karen's interesting. I think Karen is a little underrated, actually. So first of all, Ruler is, I don't know, a rare class. She's one of the better rulers in the game. Like who else would even compete? There's a couple that are on her level. Definitely like Astrea and stuff, and some of these later ones that aren't in the game yet for NA. But definitely Karen is one of the strongest rulers in the game, and is definitely not one to, you know, sleep on. So first skill grants invincibility for 3 attacks, 3 turns, and then she grants a self-regen buff that absorbs the party's NP gauge by 10%, except self, and then that gets drained into her. So if you have 2 characters that get drained, she gets 20%, because it's 10% from each one. Then she grants party invincibility for 1 attack, 3 turns, except herself. So she gets 3 attacks invincibility, and the party gets 1. Then she increases the party's NP gen rate for 3 turns, only 20%. Not insane. Second skill, Taunt. Oh, for some reason, it always does this when it has, like, auto-translate on. Taunt for 1 turn, charges NP gauge by 30%, and then reduces all enemies' NP gauge by 1, and then reduces attack and defense by 20% for 3 turns. This is on a 7-turn cooldown, though. What is this one on? 6-turn. 7-turn cooldown is a little tough for a taunt, you know, that only lasts 1 turn. But still pretty good. And the third skill, Rainbow increase by 20%. She charges her own NP gauge by 20%, and she reduces one enemy's NP gauge by 20%. So she is a lot about taking away NP gauge and gaining NP gauge, right? So let's talk about her NP. Her NP is quick. Is her buff out yet? Let me just check real quick. 22. So that'll be next year, I believe. Yeah, next year. We'll talk about the buff. We'll talk about it buff. So she AoE quick. She deals 100. She deals extra damage to chaotic alignment. That's really nice. And she reduces their quick resistance by 20% for 3 turns, and then inflicts buff block status. Remember, we saw buff block status earlier. 1 time 3 turns. Buff block is so awesome, you know. And then she increases her NP damage for 1 turn. That activates first. That's the overcharge. Really awesome NP, especially when we get some more quick support. You know, one little thing though is her passive that has a so it increases her own attack by 20% while she has a debuff. So she just she just needs to get debuffed. This jacket is making me talk weird. She just needs to get debuffed, and how do you get debuffed? Well, there are some characters that let me see. There are some characters that actually debuff the party. I think most Avengers do. Yeah, so 500% chance to reduce parties' debuff resistance by 12% except self, including sub-members. And that's a demerit. So that automatically, as long as you just have an Avenger in the party, or a person with that passive in the party, she gets 20% attack up. That's really awesome. Overall, a really cool character. Not one of the three you'd probably be targeting, but definitely an awesome character. That'll be nice. Then, well, we just opened her tab anyway. Tyra. We had little spoilers there. Tyra is one of the best solo characters in the whole game. She's one of the best characters in general in the whole game. She has a lot of good stuff, so let's quickly take a look. So first of all, she's an Avenger, which I think if you're a new player and you get Tyra, you got it. You know, you completed the game. You know, you got the end credit scene. So her first skill, increased zone damage against Genji enemies. You know, it is 200%. So there is a Genji or Genji mains and stuff. I used to be Genji main. Increased zone critical damage for 3 turns. Charge zone NP gauge by 30%. And then reduces party's critical star absorption by 100% except self for 3 turns. So that's nice. That means that she's going to be getting most of the stars. I really like that part. 6-turn cooldown. Charges, I think I said 30%. And then the crit damage is 100%, which is nice. Second skill. Now, here we go. Here's where things start getting a little bit crazy. Self guts 1 time 3 turns. Revives at 3,000 HP. Increases own instant kill resistance for 3 turns. Grants self on Guts activate buff for 3 turns. When Guts is activated, grant self Thirst for Vengeance buff for 10 turns. And the Thirst for Vengeance, my voice, buff enables extra damage from her NP. So death resistance is 100%, whatever. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. This means that there's 1 turn downtime for the Guts. She will have Guts on 3 of 4 turns, basically. And it's also a 3,000 health return on the Guts. Third skill, self-evasion 2 attacks 3 turns. Increases zone attack by 30% for 3 turns. And inflicts curse with 500 damage for 3 turns to all enemies. So overall, this skill set is insane. Second skill is one of the craziest skills in the whole game. So let's take a look at the NP, because, you know, what's the NP if, you know, whatever. So first, removes 1 enemy's buffs. That's awesome. Deals damage to them. And then deals extra damage equal to, not equal to, but there's a calculation there. The amount of Thirst for Vengeance stacks that you have. So that's where the extra damage comes in. And then it also inflicts curse for them. 1,000 on the overcharge. This is just an awesome NP, and really ties the whole kit together, you know. And yeah, she just can't die. She's one of the best solo characters in the game, and yeah, really good. So this bag is the one I'm going to be going for on NA. I would say that it would be hard to argue for the other bags. If you just care about meta or whatever, you know, meta in the sense of you just wanting to be able to complete everything in the game, I guess. But yeah, so let's quickly go over. I would say this is the best one. The 12th bag is the best one. I think second best is this one. Is the 1819 Four Horsemen one with Reynus, Arjuna, and Murasaki. And then everything else, and then I would say, I think for me, the rule would be everything else if you're a brand new player and you either don't have a favorite character or you already have your favorite character, I would go for the 12th one. If you are a not new player, I would say if you don't want to go for those either of those two, or you have every character, or you have too many of the characters that it wouldn't be like it'd be a hard chance to get a character that you don't have. Just go for your favorite. You know, I would say if you don't want to, if there's for some reason you don't want to do this one, or for some reason you don't want to do the Reynus one, I would just say pick your favorite. You know, but yeah, hopefully good luck. If you do, it is also, I mean, you know, bearing the lead 25 minutes in, it is a money spent thing. Like, do not feel pressured to get this. It is really strong, and it is the last good one, I would say, that like exceptionally good one. But don't feel pressure to spend money in this game. You know, you definitely, you know, it is if you really love this game, I think this is the best opportunity to spend money. But yeah, overall, pick number 12. Alright, well, that's gonna be it. I hope this was helpful. This was a little rambly. Also, like, this jacket is making me sweat. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great day. Good luck when you're summoning. I hope you get 10 5 stars in your lucky bag roll. And, yeah. Alright, also, check out my, other videos. Do want to say real quick, I'm awful at ending videos. Thank you for everyone that's, like, come through on these last couple videos. I never expected a lot of these videos to do really well, and, you know, seeing like 2,000 views on a video I made is insane. So I'm happy that it seems like I'm able to help people, and people appreciate the videos I'm making, and I hope this one is as good as the other ones. And yeah, okay, that's gonna be it. Bye-bye.